Hello and welcome back, YouTube. What is up? This is Ace Jackal coming back at you again with, an update video, I guess. I know, I want to say about last week, possibly a week and a half ago, I was uploading one or two videos of, my mental health and what was going on in my life as a little, I guess, vlog or whatever you want to call, straight from the hospital. Well, I'm home now, finally. I got out, about I want to say 48 hours, almost 3 full days after going in. But as I'm sure you can see, we have the Human Rights Commission website up on my screen right now. Now, the reason why I have this up is because first off, they gave me what is called a Form 1. So, I have the Clio educational website, which is supposed to just be for people to look up information. And so here's what they say a Form 1 is. A Form 1 is a legal document that a doctor signs. If you are on a Form 1, you have to stay in psychiatric hospital for up to 72 hours. Now, 72 hours seems a little extensive to me. So I kind of want to see this entire document, just because when can a doctor sign a Form 1? Okay, so this is something that I should cover. A doctor can sign a Form 1 if he or she has examined you in the past 7 days and believes that you need to be in the hospital for a psychiatric assessment because of the reasons listed in the Mental Health Act. Now, if we quickly jump to the Mental Health Act, because this is actually something that was created, that was supposed to protect against discrimination and stuff like this from happening. Now, I'm not exactly sure where to look in this hospital part 2. Okay. I apologize about constantly making things a little bit bigger. It's just I'm sitting back from my screen. It a little bit makes reading some of this fine print that much more difficult. Okay, but part 2, hospitalization. Where admission may be refused. Despite this or any other act, admission to a psychiatric facility may be refused where the immediate needs in the case of the proposed patient are such that hospitalization is not urgent or necessary, which in my case was unfortunately the ground basis of why I started these videos. Because going into the hospital under my own power, like I've stated many times before, I made this very clear to doctors and psychiatrists that, look, my human rights and as an individual are being revoked, and they were the ones doing it, thinking they had every legal right to, when in fact they were not only discriminating against me for my mental health, but they were also discriminating against my human rights, which I have a huge problem with, because I know for a fact that if I walk myself into a hospital, I should have every right and every power to take myself out of said hospital without having the doctors get in my way, without having security get in my way and saying, we will tie you down to a bed because, oh, we have the right to. Okay, so if I say don't touch me, I'll charge you with assault, and they continue to, then how am I the one at fault when I have already made my statement of don't touch me, I will charge you for assault and harassment, and then they continue on to tie someone down to a bed? How is that not harassment? How is that not assault? And how is that not discrimination? But continuing on, admission of informal or voluntary patients, which I was a voluntary patient. Being 24 years old, I am a legal adult and a legal citizen of Canada. Hence, I was in there voluntarily. Any person who is believed to be in need of the observation, care, and treatment provided in a psychiatric facility may be admitted thereto as an informal or voluntary patient. Voluntary patient, as I was, upon the recommendation of a physician, which there was no recommendation from a physician. I took myself in there because I didn't want to go home. I was showing my own brother, younger brother, and my roommates respect out of how irate I was that I was removing myself from my living conditions and situations, so I wouldn't flip shit on the people that I'm living with out of respect for them, and then everything else happens. But like I said, a voluntary patient like I was, and then they all instantly just start taking rights away, and it's unbelievable what they think they can do. Child as informal patient, don't really need to take too much care to read that. Application deemed made. Upon the completion of 6 months after the later of a child's admission to the psychiatric facility as an informal patient, or the child's latest application. Okay, that doesn't have anything to do with my situation again. Give me a quick second. My glasses are just a little messy right now. It's a bit of a pain keeping them clean, especially when I'm constantly always rubbing my eyes because YouTuber life, I'm always up. Speaking of, there should be a new factions video coming out relatively soon, and there should be a new lab video coming out that's out prior to this video. There's a fair bit of an explanation in the factions video of what's going on Dark's Corner, but I need to stay to my focus, and I need to stay to what I'm talking about now, so hopefully I can see. No, still foggy. 1 second. This is just a right pain. I'm not sure where my cleaning solution is at all. Even on my little table here in front of me, which is where it normally is, I can't seem to find it. But, oh, I can actually read now. Okay. So, considerations. In determining whether a child needs observation, care, and treatment in the psychiatric facility, the board shall consider A, whether the child needs observation, care, and treatment of a kind that the psychiatric facility can provide. B, whether the child's needs can be adequately met if the child is not an informal patient in the psychiatric facility. C, whether there is an available alternative to the psychiatric facility in which the child's needs could be more appropriately met. Okay, I'm reading this and actually getting rather annoyed, for the sheer reason that I went in there was because I knew I needed help, and I am seeking that help as I need it. But to be completely blindsided by a form that completely revokes all my human rights and all my citizenship and all my rights as a citizen of Canada, and my ability to say, no, I don't want to be here. I'm demanding you let me go because I brought myself in here voluntarily. I brought myself in here under my own power. I am admitting and saying that yes, I may need help, but no, I am not a hostile individual, and I am not at the point where I am going to just go out and kill somebody. Yes, of course, everybody has those thoughts. I mean, my situation in particular, my ex-fiance now is trying to completely take away my parental rights to my daughter, which I'll try to have a picture of up in the corner. But the biggest problem with it all is, like, what right, by any means, does any doctor have to discriminate against me or anybody else for that matter? and say, oh, even though you brought yourself in here voluntarily, we're going to revoke all your fucking rights. We're going to take away everything you hold dear and hold close to you as a human being and citizen, even with our even with the Human Rights Act clearly stating, oh, wrong one, that, oh, protected grounds are age, ancestry, color, race, citizenship. Oh, citizenship, ethnic origins, place of origin, creed, disability. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe I'm classed under the Mental Health Act, and the fact that I have Asperger's, which is known as an autism, ADHD, social anxiety, Tourette syndrome, which I know I may not show it, but the Tourette's, the anxiety, especially talking about all of this, really comes out for me, which is partially why I'm just jabbering on and talking with my hands a little bit. I will do my best to ignore my phone. I apologize. I'm actually, and I just want to I do need my phone open for a quick second. I just want to give a shout out very quickly to a very special girl. I'm very much enjoying speaking to her, and I just want to say, babe, if you actually see this, and I kind of hope you come across it eventually, if anything. But I'm just going to say I'm not going to say any names. I'm just going to use a nickname I came up, a little pet name I came up for her. Katie, if you can see this, I'm giving you a shout out, babe, because you really are special to me, and you've really been helping me these past couple days with dealing with all my personal problems, as well as much as I'm helping you, just with talking to each other and getting to know each other. And I gotta say, I think I'm falling again, but enough of that and the great big smile, dopey smile on my face. Okay, but like I said, protected grounds are also, oh, family status, and oh, what's this? Mental status, including single status. I'm sorry, but is that right? I mean, zooming in, mental status, including single status. Let's see. Okay, that means about, I want to say 3-4 months ago now. Sorry, no, it was longer than that, because this all originally started when there was a construction worker that was just, out on my balcony, that was supposed to be replacing my balcony, clearly not doing his job, just standing there staring into my bedroom window, just saw me. And from his perspective, what he saw was this. He saw me standing there holding my little girl like this, thinking I was shaking her, when I'm standing there perfectly still like this. Meanwhile, he's going back and forth, so he's seeing this. So I understand clearly, yes, how he thinks I was shaking my daughter. But when the simple fact that I have said numerous times, along with not only my mother, but all my friends know this. Everybody that I speak to on Discord, online, knows I would never lay a hand on my little girl. I would never lay a finger on my beautiful little daughter, and it destroys me that my own father of all people thinks that I would. But with this mental status, I mean, it's really sad, because, I mean, it says including single status. I mean, after the whole construction worker thing, about a month later to 2 months later, me and my fiance broke up, because I know she's already spewed a bunch of lies and bullshit and deceit and just complete crap about me. But here's the reality. I knew fully well that I was not treating her right. And I'm being a man right now, I feel, and saying, yeah, I made a mistake. I was in the wrong numerous times with how I spoke to her. But I could not, I repeat, I could not handle dealing with her mental instabilities and her emotional instabilities while also trying to deal with my own anxiety, my own stress from the situation that was going on, because it was so traumatizing to me. Being forcefully removed from my family the way I was, illegally at that, because, oh, there was no discretion used. The police didn't listen to me or my ex at the time. She said, "I don't want any charges laid." What did the police do? They just laid charges, not listening to anybody, not waiting for medical records, because, oh, if I had them, because, oh, the police and the government are just trying to fuck me over and make an example out of me because, oh, they think I shook my child. But in reality, I'm sorry, I never did. I mean, and this is all relating to my mental health right now. I'm just setting my keyboard aside just because I'm not too sure exactly what more I need from these sites, but like it's really really sad because I was taken away from my family. I had to end my relationship. Yeah, I broke up with her because I legitimately could not be the one being super dad, taking care of my daughter for the first 3 months while she was recovering from a cesarean or C-section, which is what basically where they cut her open and pull her out because she was physically too tiny. But putting that putting that putting that to the side, having all this happen within the time frame of about a month was beyond traumatizing for me. And I know for a fact because my ex has actually told me that when she was growing up, her parents used to beat her, belittle her. What she told me was straight up child abuse and neglect, and the government seems to think it's okay sending my daughter to her parents now. Which, no, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that at all. And it seems regardless of how many times I voice my concern, people don't listen. I've called the police and reported her for child abduction because she has actually abducted my daughter before. When? About a week and a half ago, actually. She tried taking her for 2 weeks and then just tried not having any communication with my mom, not having any communication with child services, and on top of that, she then lied to child services about what her plans was to try and manipulate the situation, because that is all she is. She is a deceitful, and I apologize about my language, everyone. She is a deceitful, disgraceful little cunt that should not that I highly regret ever meeting and ever having a child with. I love my daughter very much. I absolutely love my kid. I will give my life for my daughter. I swear to it. But I regret ever meeting her because of the damage that she did to me. She was not only mentally and emotionally abusive to me, but she would use my mental disabilities just to twist my arm to get me to do exactly what she did. And I know a lot of people never saw this, but this is reality. And as much as she's going to fight and deny that she did anything, I've accepted. I made mistakes, but this is where I have my problem. She can't take ownership over anything she's done. And not only that, she then lies to child services after me stating that she is going to lie to you. She is going to try and manipulate the situation because that is who she is. And child services and the police never listen to me. And then this happens where, oh, she's now trying to manipulate the situation. And if I'm already distraught from something like that, and with how traumatizing the event and situation was for me, yes, it is how post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is created. And every single time, I question anybody about my child's safety. And they say, oh, she's with her mother. I just lose it. I don't know what it is. I just lose it. Because and there's no way I can stop it or either. It's just that click in my head. My daughter's in danger. I need to be dad and I need to protect her. And it destroys me inside because I keep putting myself out there over and over and over again, putting my well-being at risk for my child, and I get ignored. I'm her father, and I'm the one who's ignored when I'm the only one trying to look out for the best thing that can be done for my child. This is the Human Rights Act. So if we continue going down in the hospitalization part, powers of board. The board, by an order in writing, may direct that the child be discharged from the psychiatric facility or confirm that the child may be continued as an informal patient in the psychiatric facility. No limitation, nothing to this section prevents a physician from completing a certified involuntary admission in respect of the child. Okay, in respect of the child. I'm not a child. I'm a human being. I'm an adult, and I deserve the respect. And, I threw all of this information at nurses, at doctors, at the lady at the doctor who signed the form, and she said, oh, you're wrong. I'm sorry, but I'm sitting here reading this off, and it's stating exactly what I was saying to people, that no, what you're doing is illegal and wrong, and it's considered, and what it is technically considered is discrimination against mental disabilities. Because that is exactly what it is. If you're going to trap somebody in a room for 72 hours just because they can't mentally keep it together, I'm sorry, but if they can calm down and have a very well-spoken intellectual conversation, as I'm very articulated and can very easily portray my message as words from my mouth to another's ears. But applications for psychiatric assessment, where a psychiatric examines a person and has reasonable cause to believe that the person A has threatened or attempted or is threatening or attempting to cause bodily harm to himself or herself. I don't think physically working out so I could sleep because my anxiety and my stress was so high, keeping me awake all bloody night for almost 3 days straight. I don't think me working out is physical harm. I think that's a good physical exert of me trying to show them, look, I am stressed. I cannot sleep because I am here. My anxiety is through the roof because I am here and nobody's listening to me. So I'm going to now use the one thing I can, which is working out, to try and de-stress and tire myself to the point where I will actually fall asleep. Now then. Hang on. Procedures, subsection 3914 and section 42 of this act, and clause 73, section 3a, subsection 73, section 4, and section 74 and 80 of the Healthcare Consent Act 1996 apply to an application under this section with necessary modifications. Healthcare Consent Act, which means they have to have my consent before ever trapping me in a hospital, before ever locking me in a room, because as soon as they do that and hand me paperwork saying, "Oh, you're expected to stay here now," and here it is. The okay. I just found something else on this paperwork that never actually happened. Okay, this Hames Heather Elizabeth, that I'm not sure how well you guys can see that right now, but it should be just under my finger there. That Haynes Heather Elizabeth lady, she never actually spoke to me, and she's the one that is saying that apparently handed me these forms a day late, almost a complete 24 hours late. Legally, I should have had this about 2 minutes after they put me on a form 1. But here's the thing: being going in voluntarily, they never legally had any obligations to put me on a form 1. I mean, application for the psychiatric assessment right here. All this entire I did that wrong. This entire section right here explains why I shouldn't have been in there in the first place. Where application for psychiatric assessment 1, where a physician examines a person and has reasonable cause to believe that the person has threatened or attempted or is threatening or attempting to cause bodily harm to himself or herself. B, has behaved or is behaving violently towards other person or has caused or is causing another person to fear bodily harm from him or her, or has shown or is showing a lack of competence to care for himself or herself. Now, dictated by that, me standing up and putting my foot down as a parent to my mother that's not listening and consistently putting my daughter in harm's way, that she can't legally use that saying, "Oh, he's gonna hit me because I'm not listening to him about his child." She can't say that, because that's illegal and that's making a complete falsehood about me. Also, has behaved or is behaving violently towards another person or has caused or is causing another person to fear bodily harm. If I can't bring myself to hit a woman, how the hell is someone going to expect me to hit somebody else? Yeah, if I'm angry enough, I'll put my hand through the wall. But that's not hurting anybody but me. And it's hurting an inanimate object, and what damage have I really caused? Okay, I have a hole in the wall that I need to fill, and I might need to go rinse off my hand and put a bandage or 2 on my knuckles. Nothing serious. And after that, it's usually okay. I'm calm, I'm crying because I freaked out, and I don't like freaking out. I mean, and then there's this other section of this little application for psychiatric assessment here, which is, and if in addition the physician, which is what that word should be, that one there, is of the opinion that the person is apparently suffering from mental disorder of a nature or quality that likely will result in serious bodily harm to the person, serious bodily harm to another person, or serious physical impairment to the person. The physician may make application in the prescribed form for a psychiatric assessment of the person. Now, with that being said, when I spoke to the psychiatrists, I made it clear to all of them that, yes, I understand I made a mistake. I understand I'm not mentally all there all the time. But I also showed them that I am very capable. I am not an incompetent individual. I can very well articulate my feelings, my emotions, and what's going on in my head. So why when I gave them nothing to go on, was this Form 1 placed on me. Let's see here. They wanted to speak to my mom privately. Well then, I wonder what my mom said to them to make them think that I was so mentally unstable that that they felt they had the authority and the right to to illegally put me on a Form 1. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about all this. I mean, yeah, I've given you the information. I've given you the legal side of it and how the legalities all work. Legally, like I said when I was in the hospital, my mom was at fault for everything, and by what I've shown you guys here, I never did anything because, oh, yeah, I may have been pissed off. I may have been screaming at my mom, but she's my mom, and she made the mistake of saying, your daughter is somewhere she's not supposed to be, and I know you don't want her there, and I know that these people are bad, but I just don't care. Because that is what my mom said to me that set me off. And I just don't get why she can't seem to clue in that half of the problems I've been dealing with lately are half caused by her. Because, oh, yeah, I might become irate. I might become upset when my daughter, my child, is somewhere that I know she is going to very likely be injured or hurt or let's see, based on a lot of what I've been seeing from her, sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, and raped by either her mother, her grandmother, or her grandfather. Because, oh, I'm sorry, but let's see. Any kid, and any parent can agree with me on this. Any parent, any kid, when they are about 8, 9 months old, almost a year, yeah, they like being tickled. So why, when I was sitting in the front passenger seat, just going out to my mom's boyfriend's farm for a little family dinner, did I turn around and, oh, my daughter saw me, and big bright smiles, hands reaching out, wanting to say, hi daddy, hi daddy, hi daddy. So I reached back and I said hi to her. I caressed her cheek, she smiled, she grabbed my hand, she did her little baby thing, and played with my hand for a bit, and then she just let go of it. And I was like, okay, well, here's one of your toys. And then from there, there was nothing wrong at that point. Absolutely nothing wrong. And it wasn't until I started actually tickling her that I noticed this. Because, oh, what is one of the most sensitive spots for anybody? The back of the knee. And that's where I was tickling her. So when I'm reaching back, tickling her like this, right there, and yeah, I'm showing you right on my own body. I have no problem doing this. I was tickling her right in under there, right at the very crutch of her knee, right there. So why would my child at almost a year old, at this point in time, like I said, 8, 9 months, almost a year, why would she then grab my hand, turn it flat, and then start pulling it as close as she could to her groin? I'm sorry, but almost any parent can agree with me on this. That is a sign that she has been molested. That is a sign that somebody in this other family has harassed her and sexually touched her there. Why would my own child be doing this? And then she literally held my hand with my pointer finger and my pinky like that, and just pulled as hard as she could. But to get my hand as close to her groin. And when I figured this out, I pulled my hand away. She looked at me like, "What are you doing? I thought we were going to play." And then I said, "No, that's bad." And instantly it was just the waterworks. Like I was the bad guy. Which told me right then and there that it's not only me, it's not me doing anything wrong. It's me standing up and saying, I am seeing things that are showing me and saying to me that this other family is sexually assaulting my daughter. And I'm not okay with that. And no matter how many times I brought this up about 3 different times to the police. I've brought this up about 5 different times to child services. And still, nothing has been... Oh, I'm sorry. I just smacked my puppy in the head. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. And still, like I was saying, nothing's been done about it. So I don't even understand why they think they can take away my rights as a father, why they think that they have the right to not listen to me as the father, and when I am voicing my concern to so many different agencies, to so many different people, and it's the same story, consistently the same story, why nobody has listened. But before I get too worked up, too worked up on this topic. I'm gonna have to call it here. I hope you all enjoyed this. This was Ace Cool. I got my little puppy dog here, of course, because he's always loving on the attention. He's always on the, oh, I'm always here for you boat. And so this was Ace and my little puppy Marco signing out. Goodbye, everyone.